Hi there, I'm Candace. I eat a plant-based diet, drink plenty of water, and make time for exercise on most days. But I do have one weakness, my last frontier of fitness, if you will, and that's sugar. I've had a sweet tooth for as long as I can remember, and while I usually avoid candy and baked goods except for occasional treats or special occasions, I do tend to rely on healthy adjacent sugary foods for snacks. Things like trail mix or chocolate covered nuts, which I can justify as having some nutritional value, even though they usually contain way more sugar than I should have in any given day. And why does it matter? Well, studies show that consuming excess added sugar can lead to higher blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, fatty liver disease, weight gain and obesity, tooth decay, and a lot of these are linked to an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. So some pretty serious issues can come out of eating a bit too much sugar, or way too much sugar. When I say added sugar, I mean any sugar that's not naturally occurring. And there's actually no daily recommended value for added sugar because we really just shouldn't have it. Nevertheless, the American Heart Association recommends that women consume no more than 24 grams of added sugar per day. That's about 6 teaspoons or 100 calories. And men consume no more than 36 grams per day, which is 9 teaspoons and 150 calories. I think most of us blow way past that with just our morning pastry. And it's true, the typical American actually consumes a whopping 77 grams of sugar per day, and children consume even more at 81 grams per day. Things are clearly out of control, and we know it. 77% of Americans say that they would like to consume less sugar in their diet, and I'm among them. So no, I'm not doing this to lose weight. This isn't some fad diet. I'm hoping that this can be the beginning of an actual lifestyle change that will help me live an even healthier life for longer. So, what if I just stopped eating sugar? For the next 30 days, I intend to do just that. No added sugar, no honey, molasses, high fructose corn syrup, or any of the many other names for sugar will be consumed. I'll focus on consuming natural sugars only, and there is an important difference. And this is a distinction I should emphasize, because the sugar in this is not the same as the sugar in this. Natural sources of sugar, which come from carbohydrates, typically contain things that are really good for us, like fiber, minerals, and antioxidants. They also tend to be digested by the body much more slowly so that your cells get a nice steady supply of energy, which is actually very different from how your body reacts to added and artificial sources of sugar. Furthermore, consuming a diet that is high in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains has been shown to actually have the opposite effect of eating lots of added sugar, and that is that you're at actually a lower risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. So, over the next 30 days, I will be documenting my journey, telling you how I feel, what's going on, what am I eating, what can I not eat? And I think it'll be really fun for us to do together. I'll attempt to come out victorious in the battle of wills against my sweet tooth. Wish me luck. We're still in the panoramic. I don't really have anywhere to go, but I'm just gonna walk off like pretty dramatically anyway. Hello. It is the morning of day 1 of our no sugar journey. And last night, realizing that it was my last night of eating sugar, I ran out and got a box of candy. It's my favorite candy. Just so that I wouldn't be craving it the whole time, and finished it last night. I also went out and got some new multivitamins because the ones I usually take are gummy vitamins that have sugar in them. So we're ready, we're ready to go. I'm gonna grab some breakfast. I think I'll have an apple or something like that, something simple. But yeah, here we go. We've made it to day 2. Day 1 was alright, I had a moment of weakness when I finished my lunch when I just really wanted something sweet. I just got some raisins and some almonds, and it really hit the spot. So I've actually ordered some more snacks because I realized I did a good job of getting rid of the sugary snacks that would have tempted me, but I did not replace them with anything. So I've got some more snacks coming today. Here it is, y'all. My box has arrived. I ordered from nuts.com and I got several different things. These are almonds. These look roasted. Yeah, these are roasted. These actually were free with the purchase. I got freeze-dried pineapple. I've never had freeze-dried anything, I don't think, since I went to like the science museum as a kid. This is dried apple. This is a huge bag, quite large. And then we've got raw almonds, cashews, more cashews. I decided to try these. These are beet chips. Never had beet chips before. I figured these would be great because they have, you know, a little bit of sweetness from the beet and then a little bit of saltiness. So I thought that would be a really good snack. And I'm really excited for cashews. Cashews are some of my favorite snacks because they have a little bit of sweetness to them. Like literally 2 grams of sugar per serving. And so that's more than almonds or something like that. If you look at the raw almonds, 1 gram of sugar. So cashews have that really nice bit of sugar that makes them like really satisfying snack for me. So if you're looking for a nut that's, you know, satiating, of course, you know, with the natural fats, but also has just a little bit of sweetness naturally, I would go for the cashews. And I'm excited to try everything else. No added sugar in any of these. The apple is just the natural sugar. I know they say the first 48 to 72 hours are the hardest, and we've been through 48. Let's see, you know, how we get through 72. But I feel pretty good. I have not really felt very hungry. If I do feel hungry, I usually will just eat more of whatever I made for dinner. More toast. Like last night I went back in the fridge at like 10 something and just ate cold tofu, and it was delicious. And the nuts are great. The dried fruit is really great. I tried freeze-dried pineapple last night for the first time, and it was amazing because it's like just like real pineapple when it like melts in your mouth, but it's really crunchy at first. It is quite the experience. Highly recommend. I think I'm getting in the swing of things, getting used to not having the added sugar. Also, I've been doing some more exercise, and I think just like moving has been good. I don't know if there's like science around that, but I feel like just staying in motion is helping me not focus so much on like what I want to eat or what I'm not eating. A few things yesterday. When I was out, I was like, oh, there are a bunch of like good restaurants around here. I should get something to eat. And then I remembered this whole no sugar thing and the fact that most of the food, if not all of it, probably had some form of added sugar, whether it was in like the sauces that were used or what have you. So I didn't pick up any food, and I'm realizing it's actually going to be quite the challenge to order out doing this no sugar thing because you just don't really know what folks are putting in the food. I literally spent like 30 minutes of my life yesterday trying to figure out if Chipotle had any added sugar in their food, and I think the answer was probably not, but probably it's not good enough, you know? So I'm really committed to this thing and staying the course, which may mean that I just have to make my own food for the next 3 days, which isn't the worst thing, but I think I will tire of eating my own food before I'll tire of just not having sugar. Good morning. It's day 5, 6, one of those. I'll insert when I'm having breakfast: an apple, some almonds, cashews, and dried apple. I guess that's a lot of apple. But I think one of the reasons why I haven't had really crazy sugar cravings is because I've been having fruit. And the fruit is like really doing it for me and satisfying my sugar craving. Another thing I'm finding is that because I can't have sugar, I've been having a bit more salt than I usually do, which I know isn't great. Like, because I can't have sweet snacks besides, you know, my dried fruit, I've been having salty snacks. So I've been buying like the beet chips, bought more vegetable chips because it has that blend of like sweet and salty that I really like, that I used to get from my trail mix and stuff. So that is one thing I'm noticing. I'm trying not to overdo it with the salt though, because that's not good for me either. But everything's going well. I think we're gonna make it 30 days, but it's still early. It is day 9, I believe, and we're still at it. Things are going well. I'm almost out of snacks though, so I must replace them because they are a serious lifeline. A few observations. My face has been doing pretty well. I do have acne prone skin. These are old marks. The skin is actually smooth. I do have acne prone skin and typically have like just, you know, a couple things happening in some isolated areas. So in the weeks leading up to this, I was spot treating some areas, but nothing's really happening right now. And I'm like, what? What's going on? You know, so my skin has been looking pretty good throughout this. So we'll see how long this holds up. One thing I will also mention is that when I'm out and about, I find that my inclination is to grab something sugary. Like anything that I would stop in the store and buy real quick has sugar in it. Like I walk past the cafe and I'm like, ooh, chai latte. And then I'm like, oh, sugar. You know, I like walk past the pharmacy. I'm like, oh, I could grab a bag of candy. Sugar. You know, like grabbing pretty much any drink anywhere would be sugar. So I'm out and about and I just don't really stop in any of the, you know, stores or food places because there's nothing for me there right now. I was out the other day and I wanted to get something, but instead I just went to Whole Foods and bought groceries. Delivery number 2, y'all. Nuts.com. Once again, not sponsored. One thing that I had mentioned earlier was that my skin was doing pretty well, and I thought, well, maybe it has something to do with this. And, you know, I would see if it held up, and it has held up. My skin, I don't know if y'all can tell. Look at this. It is looking so good. And I have acne prone skin. It's not usually that bad, so it's not like I look drastically different, but it has, like, I have not seen a pimple. Nothing. And that is amazing. So it seems like, you know, perhaps for me, no added sugar is helpful in dealing with acne. Seeing as I feel good and, you know, everything's going really well and I know that it's good for me, I think this is something I'll consider, like maybe not keeping foods with added sugar in the house, but, you know, if I go out, allowing myself to enjoy those things, you know, baby steps. Hey y'all, checking in with a super quick grocery haul. I'm just gonna show you what I've got. We've got about a week left. These are my like fresh groceries. I've also got some more like nuts and things like that coming in soon for my snacks, but I'll show you what I got here. I've got Fuji apples, organic Fuji apples, pretty much the only type of apples I eat. I like these a lot. I've got some tomatoes. I'm gonna make a tomato sauce to go with my tofu, which I have over here. I've also got some mushrooms, which I'll cook up together with the tofu. Bananas, red onion, yellow onion. I've got some mandarin oranges, which are just delicious. I really enjoyed them the last time I got them, so I got 2 bags this time. which may have been overkill, but you know, I'll do my best. And then I've got some organic baby arugula. This is like so good. Cruciferous vegetables are your friends. So I've got myself a bag of those. And then I've also got Dr. Praeger's California veggie burgers. These are really good. Sometimes I'll just make one and put it on a bed of lettuce. Sometimes I'll mix it in with whatever dish I've got for the night, like the tofu and the mushrooms. They're really good, nice flavor, nice consistency. And that is my grocery haul. Is this a good thumbnail? Hello. It is the end of day 25 and I want to show you something. These are the cashews I got today and they're already down to this low level. So yes, I went in, but no regrets. They were delicious and we've got snacks to bring us through these last 5 days. So I'm feeling really good. I will say, like, I felt pretty good the whole time. I think maybe like the first day or so I was like, oh, this is hard. But even still feeling good, it just wasn't a habit yet. And so in the beginning to like the middle, I was like very conscious of what day it was. Like, oh my gosh, like how many days left? Is it over yet? But at this point, I had to look at what day it was before I started this video because I've kind of lost track. And it's just regular, you know, MO at this point, and I'm used to it. I'm used to having a pantry full of items in my house that I cannot eat. I'm used to all of that. And I think it's a behavior that I could very easily continue past this 30 days, which is exciting. And I think it would be worthwhile, actually. I think, you know, there's just so much research about how all the added sugar in our diets does nothing for us but have detrimental impacts. So it's certainly something that I'm thinking about. Maybe not like 100%, but allowing myself moments when I see a vegan cupcake to just enjoy the vegan cupcake, or to like eat out and not have to, you know, worry about what sauce is on it. You know, I think I would like that level of flexibility, but overall I feel really good. I will also say I'm seeing other impacts. I've lost weight. I will also say that I've been exercising, you know, before I did this challenge as well, but we got a treadmill. The weather's nicer, so that has also kind of upped the amount of working out that I've done. So there are like other variables that may be at play, but I thought I'd mention that because I actually do think the diet has something to do with it. I feel like I have less cravings too. Like in the beginning, like I would think of something with sugar and I would be like, oh my gosh, I need that. I wish I had that. And now I don't feel that way. Like I don't feel like I need those things. So I feel like little things like that, like being less dependent on sugar, craving sugar less, clearer skin, those things are really great. I mean, a couple pounds, that's cool too. 25, look at us, 25 days, so good. 5 more to go, we're gonna finish strong, and I'll see you at the finish line. We made it. We completed our 30 days. I actually went 33 days, and on the 34th day I broke and had an Uber Eats deal sent to me, and I needed to utilize it. So 33 days of no sugar. What did I learn? First, sugar is added to almost everything. Bread, pizza, sushi, ketchup, most sauces known to man. There is sugar added to almost everything. I couldn't eat really any packaged meals. I didn't order anything out during the whole 33 days. And I pretty much just drank water and tea because beverages are also a huge source of sugar as well. So that was something that I was surprised at. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself a sandwich. I was reading down the ingredients of the bread, and then honey was in the bread, and so there was no bread for me, which is fine. But I think that was one of my main takeaways, like sugar is added to almost everything. Number 2, it got easier. The hardest days were the first few, and even those were not super challenging. But as I went on, I got so used to it that I contemplated whether I should, you know, even stop at 30-something days. I was a little bit hesitant to eat added sugar again on day 34, but there were some things that I missed. I may or may not have eaten an entire row of Ritz crackers. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it got easier as time went on. Number 3, there were tangible benefits. For one, I was much more mindful of what I was eating. And this is something that I've noticed at every stage of my health journey. When I stopped eating meat 8 years ago, when I became vegan 3 years ago, and now when I stopped eating sugar for 33 days, I realized I had to pay much more attention to the food that I was consuming, had to be much more intentional about making sure that what I was eating was providing me with the vitamins and nutrients I needed. And I think that's always a positive thing, to be more mindful of what we're consuming. Another benefit, I had fun. Without being able to throw barbecue sauce on something and have it taste good, I had to be a little bit more creative and get back to the basics of cooking. I tried all those new snacks, experimented with foods that I had never eaten before and probably wouldn't have eaten if I had, my default options, but it actually was a lot of fun to try those different things and to, try different cooking techniques. Speaking of which, another thing I realized was that I eat the same thing all the time. And it wasn't until I was editing this footage that I was like, Candace, you made that again? Like, you cook anything else. This is what I realized. And honestly, I did not even notice until I was looking at the footage how often I make that same meal. That's like the tofu and the mushrooms, the black beans, and what's the third part? Oh, the tomato sauce. Don't forget the tomato sauce. Honestly, it was good. I wouldn't have kept making it if it wasn't good. But I think during this process, I realized that, okay, we can switch it up a little bit. I'm paying more attention to what's in season and, getting some variety back in there because I can cook other things, I promise. But back to the benefits. I ate food that was better for me, and noticeably so. Like, without sugar, I actually felt fuller. I feel like I can eat a lot of sugar and still be hungry and actually then crave more sugar. But when I wasn't eating sugar, I actually felt fuller. I feel like the food that I was eating had more fiber, more natural fats that kept me satiated. And I could see the difference. Like, as I mentioned, my skin got clearer. I started eating sugar again, and that was over. In case you're wondering, that is over now. But my skin got clearer, my body was looking better. I had been working out for all this time and didn't really see any difference, but it wasn't until I changed my diet that all of a sudden I was seeing, definition in my midsection. I was like, whoa, where'd that come from? So, that was really cool to see. And I think my body really responded very positively, and it was clear that what I was eating was actually better for me. And I think I want to return to the point around mindfulness, like just the importance of being so conscious of the fuel that we're giving our bodies. Like, every time we eat something, we have an opportunity to provide our bodies with something that will promote life and health and wellness and balance and just goodness on the inside, And I think sometimes we just get caught up in what tastes good or what looks good, and we forget about the purpose that it's meant to serve in our bodies and for our bodies. And so I'm thankful for this exercise for just helping me be more mindful of what it is that I'm taking in. And I do plan to continue this in a different version. I don't think I'll cut out, added sugar completely and never have it again. But I'm already making some changes to my diet and the things that I'm choosing when I'm going grocery shopping. I stopped picking up, my sugary trail mix with my sweetened dried fruit, and I'm instead buying raw nuts and having unsweetened dry fruit as the complement. And just small changes like that can actually make a pretty big difference. I should probably also stop eating whole rows of Ritz crackers, but one step at a time. I've seen the benefits, and I felt good the whole time, and I felt energized and satisfied in a way that, I might not have otherwise. So I'm really glad that I did this. I'm really excited that I get to share it all with you. And I encourage you to also be mindful about what you're consuming. How does it make you feel? Do you feel your best? Do you feel well? And I hope you do. And I'll catch you next time. Oh, also, I am going to be trying 30 days of working out every single day. That is my next challenge to myself. I've already gotten started. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe, and that video will be coming soon. Bye.